I love boomer shooters. For a while they were damn near all I played, from the classics like Doom and Duke Nukem 3D to newer shit like Celico and Mullet Mad Jack. I'm not gonna mention Ultra Kill because I'm ultra dog shit at it. I was hunting for another one to play when I stumbled across this game called Blood. Blood was released in 1997 by GT Interactive and developed by Monolith Productions. Rest easy, sweet prince. It's one of the coolest games I've ever played, and without a doubt one of my favorites. It's also one of the hardest fucking games I've ever played to completion. Seriously, even on the second easiest difficulty, the game is still a decent challenge, and when I started, I couldn't get past the second level on normal mode. I'm making it sound like I didn't have fun playing it, but I really did. So I've decided to highlight pretty much everything I enjoy about the game, and the few things I didn't. The gameplay loop is pretty simple. You go around, clear rooms, look for keys, get into more rooms. Some levels have puzzles, some levels are more simple, typical boomer shooter shit. It also comes at 5 difficulties. You have still kicking, which is basically little bitch baby mode. Pink on the inside, I think it's still a fair enough challenge. Lightly broiled, the medium difficulty, which is hard as hell. Like, it's on par with hard mode in other games. Well done, which is extremely hard, and the infamous extra crispy. It's not meant for single player. Abandon all hope, ye who enter. What sets this game apart for me is how beautiful the sprite work and art direction is. Every level feels masterfully crafted in the environments, and they nailed the occultish atmosphere of the game dead the fuck on. Down to the heads-up display, the power-ups, and the original soundtrack. And the sound effects for each level. The sprites and animations for the weapons are also really fucking sick. Speaking of the weapons are some of the coolest I've ever seen in a boomer shooter. You get the flare gun first. It's basically this game's handgun, and it's really cool that it remains useful for pretty much the entire game. Fire damage is always going to be a viable option. You get the shotgun next, and holy shit, this is the best feeling shotgun I've used in a first person shooter ever, and probably the outright best. It's strong enough to be useful throughout the entire game, reloads fast, and honestly, the animations for it are just really fucking cool. It feels functional, unlike shotguns and a few other games that are also made in the build engine. And smooth to use overall. I fucking love this sexy beast of a weapon. You get your standard array of explosives, and learning how to use dynamite is essential to your progression through the game. Trust me, if you don't, this will happen. The dynamite is absurdly powerful, and it's probably one of the strongest explosives I've seen in an FPS game, aside from pretty much everything in Straftat. I fucking love the Claymore. When you get further through the game, you start to get to the real meat of the sick-ass weapons. This includes my glorious napalm launcher. The combination of explosive damage and lasting fire damage stacking, which is very good for setting most enemies in the game on fire, makes it one of the strongest weapons in the entire game, and in this game, you're gonna need the strongest weapons you can get. I think the outright strongest weapon in the game is the Tesla cannon though, and it's cool. It's how a Tesla cannon should be. I've never really seen a game with a lame Tesla cannon. One of the more unique weapons in the game is the voodoo doll. You point and click at someone and they take damage from it, but it can backfire on you if you don't have a target in your crosshairs when you use it. It's a really creative, interesting concept, and one of the most creative, interesting games I've ever played. Even the enemies are interesting, so let's talk about them next. Most of the time, the levels are going to be populated by 2 main types of grunts, axe zombies and cultists. Axe zombies aren't that bad to deal with. They get dispatched from a couple shots with the sawed off, or if you aren't in a tight space, you can just blow them away with the dynamite. Sometimes they will get back up though, so you gotta pay attention to the sound cues to know whether or not they double back on you. The cultist though, fuck these guys. They're hit scanners, which means that if you enter their field of vision, you're gonna get hit, and there isn't really shit you can do about it. Fuckers can even throw dynamite on medium and above. The shotgun cultists are annoying, but you can range them out with pretty much any weapon. The Tommy gun cultists are the spawn of Satan. The Tommy gun melts, and yet again, they're hit scanners. Shit is nearly aimbot, and you gotta move properly or else you'll run into a room full of these guys, and they'll turn you to ground beef. Thankfully, they don't take very much to take out, so if you keep moving, you're very much able to deal with them, but when you first run into them, oh my god, they're aggravating as hell. Another enemy to watch out for is the Hell Hands. They're small, hard to hit, and the last thing you want is for these guys to get near you, which sucks because they're fast. When I first ran into them, they kept killing me, and I got so pissed. I googled how to kill the damn things when they start choking you. Turns out when they start choking you, you have to mash the use key, which was E for me, so they get off your neck, and then it's a bit easier to kill them. You can't do that on the hardest difficulty in the game, so once those guys grab a hold of your neck there, you may as well just quick load. They also throw shit like gargoyles and fat zombies at you later on in the game, and those guys can take a bit more of a beating. You gotta be really careful because every enemy can be a real threat, even the axe zombies. Now that we have the basics out the way, I want to talk more about the levels that really stood out to me. If I talked about all the levels, this video would never end, so I'm probably gonna keep it limited to the shit that caught my attention the most. Of course, we gotta start with episode 1. Blood is interesting in the fact that the difficulty is seemingly inverted, because why the fuck is this shit so hard? Well, I know why. Blood operates on the idea that training wheels are for pussies, and it pretty much throws you right into the mix on the first level. There's no easing you into the more tactical nature of the game as opposed to other boomer shooters where you run and gun. An abundance of enemies in contrast with a general lack of guns and ammo. No, nothing. You go around the first corner thinking it's gonna be a run and gun affair like I did, and you get fucking clobbered by the hit-scanning shotgun cultists. That shit's not random. That's calculated just to let you know what kind of game this is gonna be. Shit was damn near impossible for me on medium. I had to turn it down to the second easiest difficulty. Even then, I still died a shit ton. My favorite level by far is the evil and fucked up carnival. There's so much going on, from the minigames to the pretty perfect enemy placement. It introduces you to the napalm launcher. It's just crafted excellently head to toe. Another map I really like is the Great Temple. It's lots of gunplay action, and it's probably gonna be the first map you play when you start to feel more accustomed to the game. They finally stop being stingy with the ammo too, and you get a lot of opportunities to test every weapon in your arsenal. Next is the boss battle. It's pretty simple shit. You run around, dodge the stone gargoyles' attacks, and shoot the shit out of it. Bullets and explosives don't do very much damage.
It's like I just slapped him in the face with a fucking napkin from a little kid's birthday party!
But that's pretty much all you have, so it's just a battle of attrition.
Sleep, Ophelia.
Oh, episode 2. I genuinely couldn't stand a lot of episode 2 because most of it is fucking mazes. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I mean literal, actual fucking mazes. I don't know, maybe it's just a skill issue because I've hated mazes since I tried to do the cereal box mazes when I was a kid. But that doesn't change the fact that I fucking hate mazes. Should've never tried to do those damn things with a pen. Whether they're above ground near the haunted hotel or the underground level in the mine shaft, fuck that level. I had to start it like several times over. The defining element of this chapter is the maze-like structure. Nonetheless, the episode isn't without things I like. The first level is actually really cool. I like the pirate ship setting a lot. The enemies are also placed in ways that make it really tense but not overly crowded, and the backtracking doesn't feel like a fucking chore. The haunted mansion level aggravated me for a while, but I've come to appreciate it. The setting is immaculate, and the lighting on the interior adds to the atmosphere, and the interior itself is excellently designed. When you're not in the hedges, it's a really fun level, but unfortunately, there are hedges, and where there's hedges, there's mazes. Nonetheless, it's a really cool level. Next, I've got to talk about my least favorite level in the whole entire game, the one in the fucking catacombs in episode 2. Fuck this level. It's personal because I had to restart it a billion times because I would load my quick save and my jumping boots were gone. And they're not just a power up in this level. You need them. I had to start from square one because my jumping boots disappeared from my inventory. It's also extremely annoying to navigate, and the level design is very samey, and that makes it even more annoying to navigate. Matter of fact, this is a short list of things I'd rather do than play this level ever again. Chapter 2 took me the longest to complete, bar none. Anywho, the boss fight is alright. You fight this mother spider that keeps birthing small spiders, and these little bastards are nuisances. Too many of the red ones bite you when you start controlling like you drunk too much liquor and you can't hit a shot, and the green ones can just make you go blind. Napalm cannon basically stops them all in their tracks though, so it's not too bad.
Along came a spider and sat down beside her and said, "What's in the bowl, bitch?"
Episode 3 is pretty good. You get introduced to the Tesla cannon, which is the second most awesome weapon in the game, and I personally love the design of the town that's the focal point of the earlier levels. I'm not even going to talk about the sewer levels because I'm just biased against sewer levels. My favorite level here is probably the factory the cult uses for their evil deeds. The design is pretty concise, I enjoy the more platforming aspects of it a lot, and I also really like how the factory looks. The dark aesthetic of the game perfectly lends itself to this type of environment. Episode 3 is good, but it also has the most confusing puzzle in the whole game, and probably the most confusing and convoluted map in the game. A red bar, blue bar puzzle is gonna give me fucking night terrors. I had to Google how to properly do the damn thing. It has overly specific solutions that don't fit this open of a level at all. You can spend like 20 minutes running around looking for a solution after doing something. It's definitely a where the fuck do I go or what the fuck do I do now level. It's up there with one of the worst levels in the game. It's just needlessly confusing. Now the next boss fight is Cerberus. You kill off a few hellhounds, pull all the switches hidden around the levels, and he comes out to play. I'd be lying if I said he didn't get me a few times, but once I figured out that staying away from him and lighting him up with Tesla cannon and napalm launcher is the best move, I pulled a pro Mike Vick maneuver. Guy melts your health bar down though. Be careful.
Good doggy. Play dead.
Episode 4, the last one in the main game. I haven't played the expansion pack yet, but I may soon. We're in the home stretch now. In the second map, you get the Life Leech. And it's not called that because it gives you health back when you kill enemies, as I very quickly found out. It's called that because it dips into your own health pool when you run out of ammo, so you really gotta manage your resources with it. Regardless of that fact, it's a really good high damage weapon. After you get the key from killing a hostage, kinda fucked up if you ask me, you get two options, go upstairs or downstairs. I like to explore, so I went downstairs, and I was blindsided by the fact that there are bosses as regular enemies. What the fuck? Yup, second boss of the game is a regular enemy, with the same health pool and all. It also trampled upon my heart to find out that it also applies to the first boss, the stone gargoyle. I have one question. Why the fuck did they do that? Hate that shit. Thankfully, the mother spider can be beat with the same strategies, and the Tesla cannon fodderizes the stone gargoyles. However, if you ran out of ammo for your Tesla cannon or your magic weapons, you may as well say your prayers for either yourself or your ammunition. They're recurring throughout all the levels too. It's kind of bullshit if you ask me, but what do I know? I never designed the game. The rest of episode 4 is just pretty straightforward level design. Nothing that really confused me out my mind. I love the atmosphere they created, and that ominous chanting in the background is really scary. It also has my favorite level in the entire game, Crystal Lake. It's a love letter to Friday the 13th. It even has the sound that plays when Jason is lurking, which is awesome. Has a really straightforward design, not confusing at all. The cabins are really well made. I like the layouts of the enemies in there, you know? It's just nice. Boss battle is a boss rush, and you can just employ the same strategies used before against them. The real big bitch is Chernobog. The game gives you all the ammo you can handle. Trust me, you're gonna need it. He melts your health, but if you keep on the move, it shouldn't be the hardest thing in the game to even take him out. Also, if you're really smart, not me, you can make Cerberus and Chernobog infight and take a lot of the workload off of your shoulders.
Good, bad, I'm the guy with a gun.
Despite how pissed off I got earlier, Blood is one of my favorite games I've ever played, and I'm honestly glad I got it on sale. Is it fun? Yeah. Is it infuriatingly difficult? It can be. Can it be convoluted? Absolutely. But I feel like it adds to the experience. I love the aesthetic and how they leaned into cheesy horror B-movies and the occultist part of the game heavy, and it just bleeds through with the sound design and level design. Everything just feels perfectly in place. Overall, I gotta recommend it. It has the good and the bad like every game, but I still say it's a great game, and it's worth the 10 or so hours it'll take to complete it.